Jessica.
And I am Unique.
Today, we're going to talk about how to spot a liar. Adaptation from Pamela Mayer's TED Talk. So now, we don't want to alarm anybody in this room, but the person sitting at your right is a liar. The person sitting at your left is also a liar. And the person sitting in your very seat is also a liar. We are all liars. So what we're going to do today is we're going to teach you what the research says, why a liar is hired to become a lie spotter.
So before we get started, what we're going to do is we're going to clarify our goal for you. This is not about to teach you the game of gotcha. Lie spotters are armed with scientific knowledge of how to spot deception. They use to get to the truth, and they do what mature leaders do every day. They have difficult conversations with difficult people, sometimes during very difficult times. And they start out by accepting a core proposition, and that proposition are the following.
The first proposition is truth number 1. Lying is a cooperative act. Think about it. A lie has no power or whatsoever by its mere utterance. But its power emerges when someone believes the lie. You agreed to be lied to, and we can also consider that not all lies are harmful. But lying attempts to bridge the gap, which makes lying complex. Sometimes we are willing participants in deception for the sake of social dignity. Maybe to keep a secret. But there are times that we are unwilling participants in deception, and it could have dramatic causes. Deception can cost billions. Think Enron, that of the mortgage crisis, or the case of double agent or traitors like Robert Hanson or Aldrich Ince. Lies can betray country. They can compromise our security, they can undermine democracy, and they can cause the deaths of those defendants.
Deception is actually a serious business. This conman, Henry Overlander, was such an effective conman. British authorities say he could have undermined the entire banking system of the Western world. And you can find this guy on Google. You can find him anywhere. He was interviewed once, and he said the following: "Look, I've got one rule. Everyone is willing to give you something. They're ready to give you something for whatever it is they're hungry for." And that's the crux of it. If you don't want to be deceived, you have to know what it is that you're hungry for. Lying is an attempt to bridge the gap, to connect our wishes and our fantasies about who we wish we were, how we wish we could be, and what we really like. And we are willing to fill in those gaps in our lives through lies.
Let's now move on to statistics. Study shows that you may be lied to anywhere from 10 to 200 lies a day. And now granted that many of those lies are white lies, they are still lies. But in another study, it says that extroverts lie more than introverts. Stranger lies 3 times within 10 minutes of conversation. Men lie 8 times to others, while women lie to protect others. Also, married couple, if you're an average married couple, you're going to lie to your spouse in 1 out of 10 interaction. Now, if you are unmarried, that may drop to 3. Now, we can say that lying is complex because it is woven into the fabric of our daily life in our business life. Sometimes we have a very good reason, but sometimes we just don't understand the gap in our lives. Which leads to truth number 2.
The truth number 2 is we are against lying and covertly for it. Lying has evolutionary value to us as a species. Researchers have long known that the more intelligent the species is, the larger the neocortex, the more likely it is to be deceptive. For an example is, here's Coco the gorilla. Coco was taught in sign language. She was taught sign language to use it for communication. And Coco once blamed his pet kitten for something that he did, for ripping a sink out of the wall. We are hardwired to become leaders of the pack. Well, babies will fake a cry, wait to see who's coming, and then go right back to crying. 1-year-old learns concealment. 2 years old learns to bluff. 5 years old lie outright, and they manipulate via flattery. a 9-year-old masters of the cover-up. When you enter college, you will lie to your mom 1 out of 5 conversation. By the time we enter this work world and we are breadwinners, we enter a world that is just cluttered with spam, fake digital friends, partisan media, ingenious identity thieves, world-class Ponzi schemers. An author said this world is a post-truth society. Trained lie spotters get to the truth 90% of the time. The rest of us were only 54% accurate. There are good and bad liars. There are no original liars. We all make the same mistakes. We all use the same techniques. And there are 2 patterns of deception I'm going to show you. First, it is the verbal dodging. Second, it is the body language tips.
The first pattern of deception is verbal dodging. Non-contact denial studies. It shows that people who are overdetermined with their denial will resort to using formal language rather than the use of informal language. We will also study about distancing language. Now, before anything else, I want you to watch the video of Bill Clinton.
But I want to say one thing to the American people. I want you to listen to me. I'm going to say this again. I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Miss Lewinsky. I never told anybody to lie, not a single time, never. These allegations are false, and I need to go back to work for the American people. Thank you.
So after watching the video of Mr. Bill Clinton, let's now analyze what he said. He said, I did not have sexual relationships with that woman. The word did not is considered as a formal language. And the phrase that woman is a way of Bill Clinton to distance himself from that woman, which makes it qualified for the verbal dodging. So, if Bill Clinton said, well, to tell you the truth, he would have been a dead giveaway for any lie spotter because a lie spotter knows that it is a qualifying language. That would further discredit the subject. Now, if he repeated the question in its entirety, or if he had pampered his account with a little too much detail, he would have further discredited himself. A great man named Sigmund Freud said, no mortal can keep a lie. If his lips are silent, he chatters with his fingertips. And we all do it no matter how powerful we are. I'm going to show you Dominic Strauss-Kahn with Obama, who's chattering with his own fingertips, probably preventing him from telling Michelle
The
something.
second pattern of deception is body language tips. With body language, here's what you've got to do. You really got to throw your assumption out the door. Let the science tamper your knowledge a little bit. Because we think liars fidget all the time, they are known to freeze their upper bodies when they're lying. We think liars won't look in the eyes. Well, guess what? They look in the eyes in a little too much just to compensate for what that means. We think warmth and smiles can convey honesty and sincerity. But a trained lie spotters can spot a fake smile a mile away. Can you spot the fake smile here? Well, you can consciously contract the muscles in the cheeks, but the real smiles is in the eye.
Now let's move on to finding the hot spots. Now, when you're having a conversation with someone you suspect of deception, attitude is by far the most overlooked but telling of indicators. An honest person is going to be cooperative. They're going to show you that they're on your side. They're going to be enthusiastic. They're going to be willing and helpful to get you to the truth. They're going to be willing to brainstorm, name suspects, provide details, but they're going to be infuriated if they sense that they are wrongly accused throughout the entire course of the interview. Not just in flashes, but the entire course of interview. An honest person is much more likely to recommend strict rather than lenient punishment. Now, let's say you're having the exact same conversation with someone that is deceptive. That person may be withdrawn, look down, lower their voice, pause, be kind of herky-jerky. Ask a deceptive person to tell their story. You're going to pamper it with way too much details in all kinds of irrelevant places. And then they're going to tell their story in strict chronological order. So what a trained interrogator does is they come in a very subtle way over the course of several hours. They will ask that person to tell that story backward, and they'll watch them squirm and track which questions produce the highest volume of deceptive tells. We rehearse our words, but we rarely rehearse our gestures. We guess. When we shake our heads no, we tell very convincing stories. We slightly shrug our shoulders, we commit terrible crimes, and then we smile at the delight in getting away with it. That smile is called as duping delight. This is there is this presidential candidate named John Edwards who shocked America by fathering a child out of wedlock. Now, we're going to see him talk about getting a paternity test. See how you can spot him saying yes while he was shaking his head no, slightly shrugging his shoulders.
Happy to participate in one. I know that it's not possible that this child could be mine because of the timing of events, so I know it's not possible. Happy to take a paternity test and would love to see it happen.
Are you going to do that soon? Is there somebody that you can't?
I'm only one side. I'm only one side of the test, but I'm happy to participate.
There are times that when someone makes one expression while masking another that just kind of flicks through in a flash. Murderers are known to leak sadness. Murderers cannot hide this. It leaks into their facial expressions. Your new joint venture partner might shake your hand, celebrate, go out to dinner with you, and then leak an expression of anger. But when anger turns to contempt, you've been dismissed. It's associated with moral superiority, and it will be very hard to recover from. It's marked by one lip corner pulled out and in. It's the only asymmetrical expression.
Now, we all know what science has done for us. Science has surfaced many indicators. We know liars will shift their blink rate, point their feet towards an exit. They will also take barrier objects and put them between themselves and the person that is interviewing them. They will alter their vocal tone, often making their vocal tone much slower. But these are just behaviors. They are just behaviors. They are not proof of deception. They're just red flags. We're human beings. We make deceptive flailing gestures all over the place all day long. They don't mean anything in and of themselves. But when you see clusters of them, now that's your signal.
We have already discussed about how to talk to someone who's lying and how to spot a lie. And now, we're going to look at what the truth looks like. We're going to show you two videos about two mothers. One is lying and the other is telling the truth. These were surfaced by researcher David Matsumoto in California. They are an excellent example of what the truth looks like. Diane Domes is a mother who shot her kids at close range, drove them to the hospital where they bled all over the car, claimed a scraggy-haired stranger did it. You'll see it in the video.
When I close my eyes, I can see Christy reaching her hand out to me while I'm driving, and the blood just keep coming out of her mouth. And that, maybe it'll fade too with time, but I don't think so. That haunts me the most.
She can even pretend to be an agonizing mother. You all see the incredible discrepancy between horrific events that she describes and her very cold demeanor. And if you look closely to it, you'll see the duping delight throughout the video. Now, the next video will show you an actual grieving mother, Erin Brunia, confronting her daughter's murderer and torturer in the court. You're going to see no false emotion, just the authentic expression of a mother's attitude.
I wrote the statement on the 3rd anniversary of the night you took my baby. And you hurt her, and you crushed her, you terrified her, until her heart stopped. And she fought. And I know she fought you. I know she looked at you with those amazing brown eyes, and you still wanted to kill her. And I don't understand it, and I never will.
Now that's some veracity of emotion from actual feeling of it. Now, we all know that there is an advancement of technology, so there will always be an effect on how to spot liars due to the effect of technology. The technology around what the truth looks like is progressing on. The science of it. We know, for example, that we now have MRIs, specialized eye trackers, infrared brain scans that can decode the signals that our bodies send out when we're trying to be deceptive. Lie spotters rely on human tools. Our world is lit up to 24 hours a day. It's transparent in blogs, social networking sites, broadcasting the buzz of a whole new generation of people that have made a choice to live their lives in public, or we can say online. It's a much more noisy world. So one may challenge us that we have to remember that oversharing is not honesty. Our manic tweeting and texting can blind us to the fact that the subtleties of human decency, which is character integrity, is what matters most. So in this much noisier world, it might make sense for us to be just a little bit more explicit about our moral code. When you combine the science of recognizing deception with the art of looking, listening, you exempt yourself from collaborating in a lie. Now, this is the end of our presentation. We both hope that you learned something from us and how to spot a liar. Thank you.